Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm just gonna go over a few things that you might not know while you're playing Assassins. Things you'll want to keep in mind while you're playing this comp and how to position. So before we get started, I just wanted to mention that I haven't been posting for a while, and I probably won't for a little bit after this video goes out because there's just a lot going on right now that I have to give my full attention to because I've already entered away 300, 400 LP, just like queuing up, trying to play and trying to climb when like I can't stop thinking about what's happening right now. I can't stop worrying. I'm not gonna get into it because that's not what this channel is for, but yeah, I'll probably just try to upload like a few shorts here and there until I have my life collected, or at least sort of back to normal. With that being said, even after all that damage I did to my account, I climbed back really easily to where I was, or at least close to it, just by one-tricking this comp. So yeah, let's get started. In the current patch, you don't want to play for LeBlanc anymore, so you want to carry either Cat or Nocturne. Try to dual carry them if needed, but in my experience, I feel like you only need to dual carry if there are more than one assassin player. So like if you're being contested and it looks like you're not going to be able to 3-star Katerina or Nocturne because too many people are going for it, then you should look to have good items on both Katerina and Nocturne. But if you're going uncontested, I recommend focusing on Katerina because she can 1v9, and everyone else, like, they're not that important. You should just try to build utility items. If you're uncontested, you should be able to hit Cat 3 without any problems, and if you have Cat 3, you don't need anyone else to be doing damage. The best utility item I find to complement Katerina is Shroud of Stillness, so if I'm playing this comp and I see that I'm uncontested, I'll build a bunch of Shrouds, and that just helps to guarantee that she won't be CC'd. So usually what happens is like people play Rel because Rel is just a good unit, and they put Rel at the corner, like across from their carry, and when they do that, Katerina will jump to that corner and then jump to Rel, and then she'll just get stunned. That happens so often. It's just, you just need to build a Shroud and put it on the opposite side of where Katerina's gonna be jumping to. Shroud of Stillness with Katerina is like the best thing you can make to support Katerina, in my opinion. Delaying ultis from units like Volibear, Ivern, Zyra, just to name a few, that's just giving Katerina a free QSS basically, and allows her to delete their entire backline at the very least. So I highly recommend building a Shroud if you're playing this comp because you can put it on the opposite side of where Katerina is, and when she jumps to that side, she won't get CC'd. So yeah, that just gives her a free QSS, which you don't usually build on her because the 3 items you want on her are Blue Buff, Infinity Edge, and either GA or Revenant Spat. I've tried like Shadow Hodge in place of Blue Buff. It's just not the same. She doesn't jump as much. If you're gonna replace any items, it has to be the Infinity Edge. You can't replace Blue Buff. It's just too good on her. Even Shadow Blue Buff, it's doable, but it's not nearly as good. And GA and Revenant Spat, I don't think you should replace because if she gets focused early in the fight and she dies, then it's pretty much over. Other items you can build to support her can be Frozen Heart or Zephyr. So you usually want the Frozen Heart when you're playing against Rangers or comps that revolve around auto-attacking because the Shroud won't really stop them. So if you're playing against Legionnaires or Yasuo 3-star or Riven 3-star, something like that, then it's probably a good idea to build the Frozen Heart. And I usually like putting Frozen Heart on Nocturne because he's gonna be on the side that Katerina will jump to, and since he's a Revenant unit, he's gonna be alive the longest to give the Frozen Heart debuff to the enemy team. So that's why he's the best holder. If you don't have components for a Frozen Heart, that's where the Zephyr comes in, and you can just Zephyr whoever is killing your Katerina at the beginning of the fight. The most important thing about playing Assassins is scouting and positioning, but we can't always guarantee that we're gonna end up on the right side, because sometimes there just isn't enough time to roll down all your gold, scout, reposition everybody accordingly, and do all of that. But if you build these utility items, it minimizes your losses by a lot, and you even win a lot when you're not on the right side. So that's why I prefer building these utility items over trying to build like more damage items on Nocturne, making multiple carries. Just focus on Katerina, focus on one carry, and then make these utility items so that if you're not on the right side, if you're not like facing the person you thought you were, it's not like a good matchup for you, your losses are gonna be a lot smaller. So just think about it like Katerina being your main carry and then Nocturne being your secondary carry. And when you're doing that, I recommend putting the utility items on Nocturne, because his items really aren't that important. You need to get perfect items for Katerina, or really good items for her, and then just put the utility items on Nocturne so that he benefits from the stats. If you have shadow components to build these utility items, then build them and put them on like Rise or Viego, just so that Katerina can get the buff from Forgotten. And since you want to focus on one carry, like here I'm doing for Katerina, you should think about other things, like if your lobby is AD, put in Ironclad. If your lobby has a lot of AP, then put in Mystics. By doing these little things to ensure that your Katerina survives, you can win a lot of matchups that you shouldn't be winning. And here you see I don't even have 6 assassins, I only have 4. But I'm still winning these matchups because I'm scouting, I'm zephyrring important units. And these shrouds, like, it's just preventing all my opponents from casting. By the time they're about to cast, Katerina is already close to killing them or has one-shot most of their team already. That's why I love building Shroud of Stillness with this comp, because your assassins still get the crit bonus from the glove and the shroud, and it's just so much value. I'm pretty sure shroud is just the most broken item you can build to support Katerina, because Katerina not being CC'd is so important. She loses so much damage when she's not jumping. So even if you're behind and you don't have 3-star cat yet, if you have a shroud, you're gonna get top 4 guaranteed. It also gives a little bit of dodge chance to whoever you put it on, so I mean, that's just not bad to have. It just does a lot for this team comp, and it's just so impactful, giving Katerina a lot more room and time to kill everyone. There were lots of games where I'm like 1 HP, and with these items I am able to cheese my way to first. So like here you see we shrouded Diana, and Diana with Nightbringer shield and Shojin will usually ulti, but since we shrouded her she couldn't, and that's just how strong Shroud is. When you have Shroud, aim for units like Diana, Ivor, and Rise. Anybody with CC that can stop Katerina, especially if they're at the left or the right side where she'll jump to. Having Shroud, Zephyr, and Trapclaw while you're playing Assassins, it's just so OP with this comp. I mean, these items are good with every other comp, but I feel like especially with Assassins, you just win so many matchups even if you're not like on the right side, if you're not positioned correctly. You should still scout and position well, but having these items just helps so that you have a way better chance of winning rounds where you're not on the right side, or even if you're behind, like your assassins aren't 3-starred yet and it's not a favorable matchup, you still might win, or you cut losses by a lot just by having these items and giving your team that advantage. So for this round I Zephyred the Teemo, but we lose because the problem is Nunu, and we can see that in the damage charts later. Nunu is the one just eating everyone. But imagine if we didn't have the Shroud here. Nunu would have went off sooner and we would have lost by a lot more. We wouldn't even have the 6 HP to go for another round. It would have just been over at this point. But since we had the Shroud, at least it saved us from not losing from that round. So now we can Zephyr Nunu next time. In this game, I've been stuck at 4 assassins for the longest time, and especially this late in the game, you should be having 6 assassins. 4 assassins really isn't great, but we're still able to win or minimize our losses because of the shrouds and the Zephyr. We could Zephyr cheese every single round to make sure that we don't lose by a lot or we win even if we're not supposed to. So yeah, we're able to make it this far. You can see my Diana's not even 2-starred, and my Volibear is 1-starred. Hecarim is kind of just like a trait bot in this situation. So yeah, it's like not the ideal. It's not the most capped board for assassins, especially not being at 6 assassins. But in some rounds, my 1-star Diana was still able to ulti, and if you played 1-star Diana before, you know that it kind of sucks. Like, she gets popped before she ults and stuff. But because we have the shrouds, we buy her enough time and keep her alive so that she can ulti. It makes your units so much stronger having these items in this comp. Also, if you have a Kindred for Mystic, put her at the opposite corner of Katerina, because if she's reviving from GA, she still jumps to the opposite corner from where she died because of the blue buff. So like, usually Kindred is really clutch and saves Katerina, just like she did in this round. One more thing to note is that if I had hit Viego while I was donkey rolling for 6 assassins, this game wouldn't even have been close. 6 assassins with these items is an auto win. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.